All right, let's go ahead and get our box in shape. Now, as you can see, it's pretty washed out, and that's because the specular is too high for this material. Let's go ahead and double click on our material. And if you take a look at the specular, we can go ahead and actually disable it, and we can now see the logo quite clearly. However, I do want some specular on this box because it does give us a little shininess along the edges. So instead, we're going to simply go to the options for the specular, and we're going to reduce the width a lot so we get a nice hot spot. And we can keep playing with that until it gets a little shinier. We can also play with the height to make it really pop. And we just keep playing with that until we're happy. But for now, that's going to be much better. Now let's go ahead and tackle the mountain. Now, just like before, let's go ahead and select it. And we're going to go to body paint. Let's head over to our wizard here. And let's deselect everything in this list. And we're going to grab the mountain. I'm now going to go ahead and say next. We're going to leave everything at the default, except for we're going to paint this at 1024. And I would paint this much higher in reality, like 2048. But for demonstration purposes and to make sure things don't bog down, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm also just going to put color on here for now as well. I'll go ahead and finish that and close it. And in a moment or two, we see that we have the paintbrush now ready for our mountain range. So let's go ahead and start off by flood filling it with a nice blue color. So I'm going to get to a nice cool blue, desaturate it a little bit. And we're going to go right to this tool here where it says gradients and hold the mouse down. And we're going to grab the paint bucket. With the bucket, click on the mountain one time and it's filled up with this color. Now we'll go back to our regular brush and we're going to go to a pretty bright color. Well, white, of course, that's the brightest we can go. And I'm going to come back up here and start to paint the cap of the mountain. And I'm literally just going to paint it right here in this viewport. This is really the only angle I'm interested in for now, because we're going to zoom in towards this scene. But let's talk about how we can control our brush. If we look over here, the pressure is at 100%, which is a little bit too harsh for what we want to do, because I want to start to blend the snow into the mountains. So I'm going to drop it down until I find something that's going to work. And when I paint now, you see it's a little more gradual, and I can get a more feathered look. Now keep in mind, because I'm painting at 1024, you might see some pixelation because this is a relatively low resolution texture. Going up to 2048 will do a lot to make this a lot smoother. Let's go ahead and increase the size of our brush now, and we can move it out into our viewport to get a preview. And let's go ahead and just start to put some snow on other parts of the mountain range. Keep in mind, we're not going for realism. We're going to have fun, create a nice cartoony feel. Let's drop the pressure down some more, increase the brush size, and just really brush some of that snow on there. I'm going to come up here again with that massive brush and start to really smooth that out. I'm going to come over here and just whiten this area up as well. Up here. All the heightened areas. Just really make this look kind of cool. Now let's start to vary our colors up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of a purplish hue in here. And just dust some of that on here. There we go. And just ignore this little discrepancy in the viewport. Sometimes when you start running out of memory, you'll get some weird artifacting inside the viewport, but everything's painting just fine. I'll go ahead and reduce my pressure even further. And I'm going to add some brighter values just to mix it up a little bit. And even some really, really faint tones of green. Get a little bit of an Arctic ice feeling. Of course, we can paint our own dark areas. We can really darken up what we want to focus on and add those regions on our own. wherever the sun's not going to really hit too hard. And I'm going to head back to a standard view. And I'm going to do a test render real fast. And as you can see, it looks pretty good so far. Now on your own, just go ahead and continue painting. And in the next lesson, I'm going to show you a really cool trick for bringing in a sky. All right, so I will see you guys in the next lesson.